Hi, you've reached the Caldwells. Please leave a message and we will get back with you just as soon as
Welcome to the RV Work-Life Balance Podcast with your traveling nomadic hosts, Sherri and Russ Caldwell.
Hey, that's us. We're living the dream, working from home, baby.
No matter where home is.
And you can too.
Woo! Thanks for joining us one more time. This is an awesome adventure we're on, isn't it? This is pretty cool.
Yay! It is.
That was not the best yay. Come on now.
Sorry.
Yay.
I'm coming in a little late.
I'm going to start with cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. All right. So we enjoy the end of the day where we get a chance to kind of recap what's been going on. So cheers to everyone there. And I'm going to start. This is getting annoying. I got to find a new way to intro this. Like, where the heck are we today?
This week, we are in Cody, Wyoming at the Cody Trout Ranch Campground, which is a little bit outside of town.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes or 10 miles.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles.
10 miles outside of town. And it's cool because whenever you say, okay, the similar thing when you first told me we were going to drive here, it's a trout farm. And the last time I had an animal in a place, it was
the Bison Ranch.
Bison Ranch.
Yeah.
Right? And that was a really cool place.
Yeah. This is not that.
Yeah. I expected like the bison walking everywhere and getting to feed them.
That was
trout,
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't get to feed the trout and I don't get to do anything cool with the trout. So.
That was the Terry Bison Ranch outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming last
cool.
year. Yeah.
Loved it. So.
Yeah. This is not that.
It's not
nice.
that. It's nice. It's nice.
On the river.
But I was imagining equally as cool as the Bison
That we'd be
Ranch.
going and catching trout in our bare hands and throwing them on a fire or whatnot. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't do that.
So it's a nice place.
But we're outside. Okay, I think that next time we come to Cody, because we do need to come back. There's just so much here.
We love Cody.
So the next time we will most likely camp at the Ponderosa Campground, which is right downtown in the heart of Cody, which I thought might be noisy and too much going on, but
like Chicago or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, we've been in places before where there's a lot of stuff going on and it's distracting. But yeah, next time we need to be at the Ponderosa.
On a good day, I think Cody says it has 10,000 people here on a good day. And I think that's half of it is horses and cows. I'll be honest. There's not a lot of people here. It's a cool town. We love this town.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got here Saturday. And then Sunday. Remember what Sunday was?
Neither one of us remembered what Sunday was at that time.
Sunday was our 35th wedding anniversary, y'all. 35 years.
35 years. And I made that joke. That's like literally we had talked about for the last 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
About, hey, it's our 35th anniversary coming up. And I made jokes like, I got big plans. And I'm like, when you're driving an RV on the road, you can only have so many big plans. And we both woke up that morning and it was, a weekend.
It was a sleep-in day after a very long drive on Saturday.
When you work and live and travel on the road, weekends are amazing. So you sleep in. We both woke up late. We had a great wake up. I made coffee, and we like to catch up on our YouTube friends and stuff.
Yeah, because everybody posts on Sunday.
We were up at least an hour before you.
We were watching
our Journey
in Miles with Mark and Sue. And all of a sudden, I was looking down at my Facebook, and a picture of me and my mom came up on my Facebook in the Facebook memories. And I'm like, why is that? And I was clearly in my wedding dress. And I'm like, why is that picture coming up in my memories? And then I'm like, oh my gosh. It's our anniversary.
And I looked at her like, oh, yeah, I knew that. Happy anniversary, babe. Like, oh, totally forgot. Both of us did.
We should get up and do something.
So I made some special anniversary coffee. And in fact, everything I did that morning, I called it anniversary whatever, So, that was pretty sad considering we had planned, and then failed at the end. So But it was fun. We had big plans already going.
When everyday life is Valentine's Day. Every day is an anniversary.
All that means is when Valentine's Day, nobody can get into a restaurant because they're packed. So that just means you can't get into a restaurant. But we make better food in here anyway.
So what did we do for our anniversary when we finally figured it out?
You mean besides the awesome coffee I made for you?
And breakfast. It was a nice
you're
breakfast.
right. I made an awesome breakfast that morning. We got to go to Yellowstone again.
Yellowstone?
No, more importantly, we went in a different entrance. We've been to Yellowstone 3 or 4 times.
In fact, it was 2 years ago on our anniversary that we went down and spent the day in Yellowstone from White Sulphur Springs, Montana.
That's right.
And it was our anniversary 2 years ago.
It seems to be a repeating pattern.
That was through the north entrance, which is at Livingston and Gardner.
That's right.
Gardner.
And so, yeah, you're right. We had driven like 2 hours from White Sulphur Springs to get to Livingston and go through Gardner. And we'd been in that entrance before. We loved it. Yeah. And you're right. This was cool. We'd never been to Cody. We'd heard people coming in the east entrance. And so we're here in Cody, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes or so to the entrance. And we got to go in there, and it was just stunning. Like every entrance you go in Yellowstone, you're just like blown away at how beautiful it is.
And they're just so different.
Yeah.
Because it did take about an hour to get to the gate, the east entrance.
Yeah.
But you go through first of all, Buffalo Bill State Park and the reservoir and the dam that he built out there.
Yeah.
And then you go through the Shoshone National Forest. And that was amazing before you get to the east entrance of Yellowstone where we went in. And yeah.
The weird thing is, like, we had picked a day. We always look at the weather when she's like planning out our trips and stuff, and it was like a mixed bag here of like where the weather, because we had to look at the weather in Cody, but also in Yellowstone. And it was very different.
It was all 4 seasons in one day, basically.
Exactly. We saw snow.
Yep,
it was hot.
rain.
It rained. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing, when we went in the entrance, there was rock falls that actually hit the road and covered it.
Yeah, there was debris.
Yeah, that had just happened. And they asked us when we went through the gates, hey, did you see, debris and rock falls on the road? And we were like, yeah. And the reason I remember is because there was lots of bikers that day. And motorcycles. And
There's a ton of motorcycles here in town.
They love Cody, by the way. Yeah, it's a cool town for bikers, motorcycles. But they had to go through all these rocks in the ground. For a car, no big deal. For a Jeep like ours, no big deal. But I can't imagine on a bike the challenge there.
Yeah.
And it's because the whole along the way, these very sharp cliffs and stuff, and rocks are falling all the time. It's amazing, but there is some, debris.
Danger.
Danger, Will Robbins.
Yeah, so that was super fun. And then, so that was our anniversary.
It was, and it was fantastic. We spent the entire day there. We got, just like last time, we thought we were going to get out of there. We said, we'll get out, no problem. And last time we got out super late, same thing happened here. Got out super late. We just totally mistimed how big that park is.
And our anniversary dinner
oh my God,
ended up being...
Yeah, it was like we split a sandwich.
Cranberry chicken salad sandwich from the gift shop.
It was good, though.
It was very good.
When you're hungry, everything's good. But it wasn't like Cheetos and, whatever. So it was good.
But it was from like the little...
Yeah, the actual park cafe kind of thing. But we actually chose what kind of sandwich they made, and that was the most sophisticated one. So it was good. But yeah, we got home late, but it was fantastic. Took more amazing pictures, and we got to see things we hadn't seen before. I love that park.
Yep.
So thank you for planning that trip. That was amazing.
Yeah. So that was the first awesome thing about Cody, Wyoming, the east entrance.
But that's not your favorite thing sometimes. When you go to a new town, what do you love?
The next morning, I got to get up and go ride the trolley. Ding, ding, ding. It was so
she
fun.
She loves the trolley.
I got to ride it in Butte the week before. And so this was the Cody trolley, which is all about Buffalo Bill. Because Buffalo Bill Cody established this town back in 1896.
Wow.
And Buffalo Bill, I didn't really know that much about him before, but now I do. He was a Pony Express rider. He was a military scout and a buffalo hunter, which is how he got his name. He was an Indian scout and worked with the Native Americans as the with the westward expansion and the people coming out. And he was a showman. He established
very much like me is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Well, he created Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, which was at that time, back in the very early 1900s, was known around the world. They traveled around the world.
Wasn't it like Queen of England that actually was impressed?
They took
Victoria
the show
to
Europe, and Queen Victoria apparently became Buffalo Bill's very special friend.
We're trying to figure out how special that was because there's a lot of references. Yeah,
rumors and innuendos.
Yeah, and she even provided gifts and stuff afterwards, So.
Yes. There is a hotel downtown Cody called the Irma Hotel, which Buffalo Bill built and named after his youngest daughter. It's still in business today. It's where the trolley starts.
It's a hot spot there when we drove through town.
Yeah. So for the Irma Hotel, Queen Victoria actually sent over the entire cherrywood bar that is the basis for the Irma Hotel.
Yeah. So he did something amazing.
He impressed her.
Yeah. Good job, buddy.
So yes. And then, so in 1896, he came back to Cody, an area that he had been through before and loved. And he came back specifically to develop a tourist town. This is the entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur anyway. Okay. So he established Cody, Wyoming. And he is responsible for carving out the road that went from Cody and he made the east entrance to Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah.
So pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
This is Buffalo Bill Cody's town.
What's funny, though, is when you walk around town, there's quite a few Buffalo Bills walking around town.
I wonder how many Buffalo Bills they are.
Yeah, it's kind of like at Christmas. You see a lot of Santa Clauses. So here you see quite a few Buffalo Bills, which is really cool because they all look authentic. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he had the little goatee and very long
and the
curly
hat
hair.
The outfit.
Jacket.
They look great.
So then what? What else did we do?
Well, my favorite thing
I took you out, yeah.
That's right. My favorite thing. So I didn't get to go on the trolley. I rarely do, but that's okay. I'm not in love with the trolleys. Like
I get to scout out the history and the places that we have to go back to.
But she hooked me up. Okay, so normally she's like, "Oh, we'll just go out and have dinner." She's like, "Okay, we're gonna go out to have dinner. And there's a little show there, and then we'll go to the rodeo." She played it down like that. And we go to this place. I shut down my work, and I was like, I put on my little outfit, put my my vest on, put my hat on, and
got a cowboy boots on.
That's right.
This was last night, Thursday night. It's been a crazy week.
Fun. So we had such a good time. So we went to the Cody Cattle
Company.
Dinner and show. Yeah. The 3 C's, and it's a place where they have this huge room, and it's set up with family style tables, and there's a stage at one end, and you walk in and people, meet you and greet you and ask you if you're going to the rodeo, and they give you tickets.
And Buffalo Bill was there.
One of the many Buffalo Bills is there. And, you go there to have this family style dinner and a show, and that's just before the rodeo. And it was fantastic. So we had such a good time. The food was great because normally when you go to feeding mass people, the food's like meh. But in the end, we compared it to what we did in Medora, North Dakota, which is the Medora musical. Yeah. So I don't think we've got to that in any of the podcasts. We'll go through that in another episode, but that was amazing as well. This was equally as good. Both the food and the show, the band. The band was
at the dinner show.
At the dinner show inside while you're, after you've eaten, the band, which by the way, we didn't realize till the band comes out that some of those most of the band members were also serving and bringing stuff out, right? Yeah. They all act like they're just working there. And next thing you know, they're on stage and they were stunning.
They were great.
Amazing. And
Ryan Martin and the CCC, the cattle
CCC band,
Cody Cattle Company.
They're hilarious. They play all types of music, so everybody's happy. And it was just amazing. If we had just done that, if you had just taken me out for that, I would have been super happy.
There's more.
In fact, they're super careful to say, don't worry, we're going to make sure you don't get late to the rodeo. And so they hustle us out after an hour-long show there, and we go to the rodeo. And we love rodeos.
The Cody Night Rodeo, which has been in business. Okay, every single night.
Yep.
June, July, and August at 8 p.m., they run the Cody Night Rodeo.
You don't know what to do tonight? Go to the rodeo because there's a rodeo.
And if you come to Cody, you have to go to the night rodeo.
And the rodeo here is amazing. So these people know how to do a rodeo. So there's there's all sorts of activities for kids and professionals, and it's very cool. And it is real rodeo with bulls and horses, and it's just amazing.
And calves and all that.
Yeah.
Cody is known as the rodeo capital of the world.
They proved it last night.
Yeah.
And that was just Thursday night rodeo for us. And for them, it was like, we do this every night. It was amazing. And they pointed out, this was like the sunset was going behind the mountains that go by Yellowstone, and we're at the rodeo. It was just stunning. So good. And it was like 2-3 hours. I don't remember how long it was. It was great.
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
So.
And we'd been to a big rodeo in San Antonio. Again, this is like 2 years ago. And that's only to say we had gone to this huge rodeo,
professional
in
rodeo.
In an inside stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it was huge. And the really cool thing about this was we were just right there on the dirt practically.
There's dirt getting thrown in your face almost kind of thing. It was amazing.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And apparently they do have the reason they're known as the rodeo capital of the world, and this night rodeo has been going on for 85 years since 1938.
Mm-hmm.
But before that,
what was before that?
They had the Cody Stampede.
Oh.
That's the thing that's been going since 1919, 104 years. They celebrated in July.
Wow.
And it's, world known.
It's a little bit before I was born, just a little bit. So.
Yeah. So, Yellowstone, the trolley tour, Buffalo Bill, the Cody Cattle Company dinner and show, and the night rodeo. Those are the things you have to do when you come to Cody. There's so many things to do. We're going to see and do. We're going to have to come back sometime.
We are. So let's get this started.
Okay.
We love this town. You can tell we loved it. And she did an amazing job getting us here and getting us to the rodeo. But
thank you.
What is our topic today?
Well, in honor of our 35th wedding anniversary
that we kind of forgot, but
we're going to talk about a frequently asked question that we do get is, how do you live and work together traveling full-time in a 40-foot motorhome? It's a good question.
That is an excellent question. And, we always talk about this is all about the RV work-life balance. And the challenge is it's when you're living in a small space, that's one thing. But when you're working in a small space, it adds additional challenges, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And you'd think, we've been married 35 years, which I don't know how that's possible when we're only 29.
I know. The math is wrong there.
Right. And our kid is now.
Yeah.
Anyway. We've been married 35 years. And it helps that we know each other so well. I can't imagine doing this as a newlywed, really. But it still has its challenges, and it still took some time to figure it out. For most of those 35 years, we were kind of had separate lives, at least during the day when we were working and raising kids, and we were mom and dad for a good 28, 29 years there. And then all of a sudden, we're now full-time, alone, 24/7, 365 days a year on this adventure in 400 square feet of space? This is a tiny house.
Yeah.
On wheels.
It is. And, the funny thing is, like, we kind of had a little bit of prep for this. Like everyone, we all had to go through the vortex of the COVID virus kind of thing.
And the pandemic.
And the pandemic, it forced us to have to, we lived in a small condo in downtown Seattle during that time. And our youngest son came home. So it was 3 of us in a really small space.
Yeah.
And the 2 of us are awesome together. I'll be honest. Our son, he likes his space too. It became a little complicated. But we had practice there, right? You didn't see me at work. And all of a sudden I was on Zoom in the house, which I'd never been, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know any of that stuff. And all of a sudden it was there. But it was good practice.
It was for this experience now.
We had to work
just
out.
in like a third of the space.
We had to work out how I could make sure you guys could walk around, how I could get internet, how we could do the daily patterns. Because I would just get my coffee at work and stuff. I wouldn't worry about some of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry about him all day when he was off at work. But now we are. We do.
So what are the things that, like, in our rig, is Charlie the unicorn. And so what are the things about Charlie that make this work?
Well, fortunately, when we found Charlie and bought this RV, because we weren't thinking really about working full time forever.
No.
In this RV. But fortunately, there's some things about Charlie that just have really helped make it work.
Yeah, things we really almost like we got lucky where we're like, that doesn't matter. And in the end, we're like, wow, does that matter?
And what are the biggest things about? It's the layout, right?
Yeah. You called it when you first walked into the first rig of this, and you said, I could do this, and it was like the layout. I never paid attention to that. I didn't know we were buying a rig, right? But you're right. You were like, I could do this, and it was something about the layout.
Yeah. It's a 40-foot RV, which there are bigger.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But this was just more spacious than I expected. Well, when I thought we were just going out for weekend adventures and getaways.
Camping or
right?
something, yeah.
But fortunately, the layout is such that we have the bedroom is in the back. There's a nice big heavy slider door, wood door that separates the back bedroom from the front of the RV.
And the back bedroom has its own bathroom. It's full bath back there, right?
How many bathrooms?
We have 1.5.
2.
We'll say 2.
1.5. 2 toilets.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
That's the important thing. Good point.
And when we first walked into this RV, I'm like, what would we ever possibly need 2 bathrooms for?
What, you were trying to get what put in there? You're like, if we pull the toilet out, what can we put in here?
I'm like, could we make this into a pantry? Because really, there's not a lot of cabinet space in the main area.
And I was on board. I was like, yeah, why do we need this? Now I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad we didn't do that.
Thank goodness we have that extra bathroom. Because, so in the back, I have the bedroom, which is my office, an area, and a full bathroom. Russ up here on the other side of the heavy wood sliding doors that cut out a lot of sound and noise. He has the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the half bath, and the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So that, more than anything, the separate bedroom, the separate 2 rooms and the 2 bathrooms.
So let's give an example of why this matters, right? We're visually describing this layout for a reason, because we didn't actually think about it at the time because we were going to go camping and stuff. We're just getting out of the house. Yeah. But the funny thing is when you both work and you're both, trying to like have your different schedules, we had to figure out what this looked like. And so let's talk through a typical day of why these spaces matter.
Well, you'll have to start because you get up first.
So, yeah. And we talked about this. I stay on Pacific time, even though we go coast to coast. I stay on Pacific time. So I typically get up first, and I'm I think I'm a decent husband, and I get up and I make coffee for my
You're
wife.
an awesome husband. I just stay out of the way.
I just wanted you to
figure
say
he
that.
needs to have his time in the bathroom. He needs to get dressed, whatever.
Yes.
I don't want to get in the way, make him late. So I just stay in bed because I'm not on West Coast
That's
time.
what she says. She's like, stay out of my way,
Yeah.
which is like as she snuggles in and snores over there. Exactly. So I get up, I get ready, I make the coffee, I deliver her coffee, and I close the middle door. Is one of the that's the part at the beginning of my day.
He leaves the coffee on the dresser for me so that then I get up. Yeah, it's kind of like rest time, which is on Pacific Coast, and Sherri time, which is
I think that's like Eastern
later.
Europe time or something like that, or London time. I'm not sure what time that is.
I stay up a little bit later most of the time at night.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But a big part of this is like our typical day is because are these two times. But a lot of this typical day also has, we deal with weekends. And we'll get back to this, but the weekends is important for sleep-in. So there's like these
sleep-in days.
Sleep-in days,
Yay.
baby. We love it. And and so there's different patterns around the rig of like when it's the Monday through Friday. In fact, Friday's a little different too, but Monday through Friday and then weekends. So yeah.
So he gets up and starts his day and leaves my coffee for me. And then I get up and do my thing and get ready for the day and try to work out a little bit in my little space back there.
Yeah, I never work out.
And then generally I have a couple of hours to work. I have my desk set up is back in the bedroom, and it's just a fold out wooden desk, I guess like a TV tray. And I have a
What's a full?
But
I mean,
it's
a
nice.
full-size desk
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's not like sit on your lap or something.
It's not one of those little tin things that,
No.
that
But it's not a
collapse on
ton
you.
better than that.
No,
So,
but it's nice. I like my fold-out desk. And then I have a folding chair that, again, is wood and has a nice upholstered seat. So it's not one of those metal folding chairs. And that chair stays up all the time except on travel days. And then it folds up nicely and sets up on the bed. And my desk. And are we talking about this? And the equipment? I have my own printer.
That's her favorite thing, which you should never have a printer as your favorite thing in a rig. I mean, it's just like paper everywhere.
He tried so hard. He's like, no, you cannot have paper. There's nowhere to keep all this stuff. Go digital. And I'm a writer.
We are killing trees coast to coast right now. So.
It's just part of the process. And then books. Okay, we're not going to talk about books, but just a moment.
The books
I have switched over to
you've done good.
The Kindle for the most part.
Yep.
Even though I still love paper books and but okay, I read on Kindle, but I can't write. I'm working on it, but it's hard. I love paper and pencil. But anyway, so yes, I have a little printer. It's awesome. We'll put it in our little Amazon recommendations or whatnot.
So now we've kind of got the intro about how our day starts. What's interesting is when I would go to the office, I'd have one problem. But when I came home to the condo, we had some considerations about how to deal and make sure that you and our son could walk around and stuff, and I wouldn't be on camera. So we had to deal with different considerations.
Yeah.
What are the considerations of, when we're working here? Like one of the things I always point out is like, we can hear each other. Like,
even through the heavy wooden door.
Even through that. So I'm usually wearing headphones because I'm on Zoom the whole time, so I don't hear as much usually unless it's too loud. And then my favorite time sometimes is when the ACs kick on because it adds an additional white noise to the room.
Yeah, well, it kind of buffers it with the door and the AC and the quiet, and you wear your headphones all day.
And I can't tell if other people can hear, but I don't think they can. Although occasionally people do.
You don't hear stuff, but I hear stuff.
No.
I hear you all day.
No.
Russ has no inside voice. And he has a lot of enthusiasm about the stuff he does for work.
So real quick, and I might have told this before, I'm very loud. And when you put headphones on me, I'm even louder. It's kind of like now.
Yeah.
But when I was going into the office, I would, again, still be on Zoom, and I would still be talking to people all around the world. And when I do that, I'm very loud. And so my cube mate that would sit next to me at one point walked over, and we had little whiteboards on our walls and stuff. And he wrote, just as he was walking out, he's like, right, use inside voice. And he walked away, and I was on a call, and I couldn't stop laughing. I had to hit mute because I was laughing so loud, because I knew exactly that everyone around me knew exactly what I said every day.
Because he talks really loud and fast.
And I'm enthusiastic, and I talk fast.
Yeah.
You're right.
And you're not even in sales.
No, I don't even do sales. I just love what I do. So, yeah.
As a result of that, I pretty much know everything about Russ's job, which I never did for 35 years of our marriage, or 30 years. I don't know.
It's not very interesting sometimes, though.
Oh, no. I find it fascinating. So I know everything, his whole pitch, all the problems, all the different people and players.
Yeah.
They know me a little bit, too. Because
they only know you a little bit because this has happened a few times. I'm really good when I'm on Zoom that when I'm not talking, I'm on mute because I can't control the stuff around my rig and stuff. But occasionally, my wife sneezes, for example, and stuff, and she's a loud sneezer. And so it's been really funny because occasionally I can't hit mute fast enough, and she sneezes. And she's in the other room, and one of my other colleagues goes, "Bless you," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So
isn't that sweet, though?
I have to hit mute and tell my wife they said "bless you." So
I mean, the things you all have heard over the last 2-3 years. With everybody working from home.
Everybody's pets and kids and stuff. It's all cool, but it's just funny.
So, the sneeze.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other thing is our laundry cycles. I don't do laundry during the day anymore.
Yeah. When you're on Zoom. So this we didn't know. When we got the rig, we didn't know this at all. So, our rig is pretty bougie or fancy, we say, because we think it's nice. And it's got a washer and dryer in it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, when you run the washer, what happens?
The entire rig shakes.
It shakes like you're in an earthquake, which is also okay because you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Except when you're on Zoom, and then it looks like everybody thinks you're in an earthquake. It's crazy.
Because it does shake the whole rig. We called it the magic fingers, if you remember Mocha 6 from the 70s or whatnot.
You put the 50 cents in the bed, and it would shake and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
it's like that.
Except on Zoom, it looks like, you're crashing in a huge earthquake. So I always have to turn off my camera. And so we don't do laundry
during the day
anymore because of that.
No.
And then I like music, and then sometimes that happens where I have a pattern when I play music and stuff. Like when I'm not on calls, and you're able to tell part of my schedule because of that.
Yeah, because I can be back in my little domain, and then I'll hear him talk to the Google box. Hey Google, play the music.
That means I'm not on a call.
Oh, okay. I can come out. We can.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, and I don't care what music. I'm just like, I need something to do the working. And then one of the other things that comes out which is strange, which I didn't have to deal with before, because when you live in a house or a sticks and bricks, as we like to say, the sun rises and sets in the same way, the same places.
Yeah, which affects your Zoom view.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, in a house, it's always the same.
Right.
But in the rig,
it's a little more challenging.
We're always pointed a different direction, a different part of the world. And so, I always have to choose which of the shades I'm going to bring up because I'm usually waking up right around sunrise, sometimes before. And if it's going to affect my Zoom stuff, I don't open it. So it's not the same every morning. Every week I have to replan what the morning's going to be, which is interesting. It's okay. It's just interesting.
Yep.
So what else about our offices and desks and office spaces?
Well, I talked about my desk and office space, and you have your office space out here in the main room.
Yeah. So my office space is it's a little bigger. I'm not saying it's better. I said bigger.
Uh-huh.
I sit on the couch over there, and I have a unique desk. It is actually our coffee table, but the coffee table has it lifts up. The top lifts up and goes towards me, so it's kind of like a a desk.
A desk service,
And
yeah.
so I'm able to put an extra monitor. I'm able to put my iPad because I do go all digital. I moved away from paper before we hit the
Which
road.
I think is so amazing.
I take all my notes on my iPad, so there is no paper anywhere. I have an external keyboard. I have a full desk with a clip-on light that projects. So while I'm on Zoom, it looks good. But all of this stuff collapses down to a really small space when we travel. Mm-hmm. So yeah, my desk is very nice. Is it the most comfortable? I wouldn't say yes, but again, I'll trade what I have now for this to be able to do what we do. So I love it. I do love it.
Well, and it's also interesting because you are on Zoom primarily. You are kind of stuck in that space because you have your whole setup and the monitors and the camera and all that thing. Whereas I don't have those limitations so that I'm able to move around and come out. I can work in the back, but I can only work back there for so long and I need to come out. And thankfully he's got the setup, which is the Zoom faces the wall and he has his background up there. So I can come out and walk freely in the main area. I can go out if I need to. She can go
anywhere. Nobody can see her.
So my office is totally mobile.
Yeah,
you can sit out here with him.
You can
go outside,
go shopping, and no one will know. It's great.
I go to the library sometimes.
It is a good setup for being able to move around, and that was always important to us. So yeah. The other. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No?
Well, I was just going to say you do have a good position out here in that you can come out and work and you're right next to the coffee machine.
I was going to say that too. Yeah. No, that's what I said. So we've got the coffee pot sitting right next to me, and I drink 90% of the coffee every morning. So unfortunately, I'm a very big coffee drinker, so it's great. I jump up, I pour coffee, occasionally go to the restroom, I grab snacks and stuff, and I never have to go either if you're still sleeping, I never have to wake you up. It is nice the way the rig is set up such that you're flexible to go what you want, but I get basically everything I need with the refrigerator, the bathroom, the coffee pot, and my desk all in one area.
Yeah.
It's great.
Plus, you can see out the big window and you got the window views. And
I do. That's the other good point. When I'm opening when I like to, because I'm going to sit there on Zoom all day long.
Yeah.
I don't get to go outside most of the time. I open up all the shades, and we have like 5 or 6 windows up here. And it is nice because then wherever you've taken us to, it's nice because I can see the mountains, the rivers, the water. Sometimes it's just the RVs, but I get to see people coming and going. And when you're sitting there on Zoom and everybody's talking to you, I get an interesting view all day long. So I'm not going to complain. I like it,
Yeah. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing I'd make a comment about is like, it's important for us. We've figured out the internet for us too, although I haven't quite solved it for you in the back. The internet is sketchy in the back of the rig. So I got to work on that.
Especially if I close the doors. But fortunately, it's also cool too that we have our separate spaces.
Yep.
But at the same time, and we've learned to accommodate each other's schedules and we kind of have our own times. But the cool thing is along about noon, 1:00 in the afternoon, when I can hear he has a break. And even before that, I can walk out. And if I want more coffee, I'll grab his cup, staying off camera, of course, and very, very quietly. I'll refill his coffee. Or then on lunchtime when I can tell he's got a break or he's let me know what his schedule is and when the break is, we can have lunch together.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll actually tell you, hey, I'm making lunch right now because I'm off, and I'll whip up the lunch, and then we set it up in the cafe in the front. We call the front of the rig with the big window, the cafe with our 2 chairs and tables.
Those are the most comfortable chairs in the entire rig. So the driver's seat and the passenger seat, which spin around, so we can face them up in the window or
back to the
in our
room.
Conversation area in the living room.
Yeah.
So we get to have lunch together every day, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, because a lot of times when I would go to the office, I would just sit at my desk and eat my lunch alone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would go to the rooftop place, which would be nice, but it wouldn't be like hanging out with you and talking about what you've done this morning, what's going on later today. It's really nice. Yeah. I really do like it.
Yeah, and we take turns making lunch. It just depends on who's in the middle of something.
I pointed that out only because occasionally I make lunch. You whip up a great lunch. But this week I did some
the chicken salad.
Chicken salad. It was really good.
Yeah. He just makes things up.
I do. I
wing
it.
It's like whatever we have. Okay. All right.
I don't think we vomited from it yet. It's been and we made enough that
it was delicious.
It was really good. So.
The other thing is with our schedules and Russ being on rest time, which is primarily Pacific Coast time. So with his job. It's also really nice that during the day, again, if he has a break in the calls and all the business stuff, I'll take him out for a walk because he needs to get out of there.
I'm like the pet.
He needs to stand up.
And we use
I'm like, let's go outside and take a walk.
Our watches to count our steps, so I get some credit for that. So
because otherwise, sometimes work gets the best of us. And we just, hours can go by before you realize, it would be good to take a walk and stretch your legs.
It is nice. And sometimes we're just taking the garbage out, but it's nice because we get to then drop the garbage and walk the actual campground. And
get our steps
Last week it was just, and we have horses here too.
Yeah, we do.
We had them last week. We have them here too. And they're it's not the family of horses, but they're adorable horses over there. Yeah.
We talked about the horses in Idaho.
Yeah. So I guess it's a good time to kind of wrap this up. We've done a good job of covering the essentials.
How we work together.
Yeah, the essentials of work-life balance of how we work together.
In such a teeny tiny small little space.
Exactly. And while it's challenging, these are the things we thought were valuable to kind of make this work.
Yeah.
Right. So number one, I think it kind of comes down to a good RV layout. And we talked about that, of like what's going to make it work. If you're vacationing in a space, it's less important, right? You're just kind of winging it. But when you're working, it's really important to have your space and it's going to fit to your requirements.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it works. So if you're just looking, you have the benefit of thinking about these things.
Yeah. We didn't think about this.
No.
And
it just worked out.
We got lucky. And we've talked to people. This is our first rig. And some people we know, they've had their first rig for a long time. But there's this kind of pattern in some of the YouTubers. They talk about like some people switch their rigs quite often while they're figuring out what works for them.
Yeah.
And if you're going to work, think about this. Think about how you might figure out where your space is and your partner's space is while you're working.
And how to make that work.
Yeah. So the second thing that we think is kind of important is the right equipment, what you need. And, my wife Sherri's talked about the desks. We've talked about that.
And it has to be portable.
Yeah.
And stowable, right?
Yeah. Like your desk folds up and we could put it in what we call the basement, the space underneath. Mine folds back down and becomes the coffee table, for God's sake. So, and the tech to make that work. So all of my tech folds up into a backpack and goes up into the storage area above our bed. So it's like it's not in the way when we're not working. So that's really important.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's a whole bunch of considerations is the word we're using about working together, right? So what are some of those considerations that we think are really important?
Well, we talked about our schedules.
Yep.
Based on what's going on and what you need to do and noise and, sneezing quieter.
Yeah.
And saving the laundry to the end of the day.
Yep.
And, really considering the impact of your actions on the other person's job and working conditions.
Yeah, because if I wasn't on Zoom, we'd have less worries, right? We could do a lot of things. And so, that is a challenge, but
we work around it.
We work around it. Exactly. And then there's positives though, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives. You mentioned being able to refill the coffee and I'm bringing you coffee in the morning, but you refill mine quite often, which is really cool. And I love that. And our lunches together is one of my favorite times.
Yeah.
So,
and
we didn't get to do that prior to this, which is really, really cool.
And then I think that one of the most important things that we do is every night, and we try. Sometimes it extends, the workday extends a little bit. But we both make the effort by dinner time to shut the offices down. We close the computers, we put them away, organize our space so that it's not Sherri's office all over the entire bedroom because I do use that king size bed for a great table.
Yeah.
If I'm working on a project or something. Anyway, and just putting everything away and not dragging it on into the night. And then, so Friday afternoons is like my favorite time.
Yeah, today I love it because we're having this is our Friday afternoon right now. We have big travel plans tomorrow. I love Friday afternoons, so this is awesome.
And Russ takes that whole desk, that whole folding setup with the 2 monitors and the this and the that and the wires and the lights and all this whole thing, and it all folds up into that fold out coffee table thing. And I guess you put some back in your
and then we use it as a coffee table. We eat food and watch our projection TV on it. We put our feet up on it like everyone's coffee table. It becomes a normal coffee table. I love that.
So it's not an open office during the weekend. And mine's not either. I put everything away back there.
Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of like what the top things we think are important to this RV work-life balance and being able to, make it work especially in a small space. And I really want to thank the listeners for the podcast. And if you get a chance, take a look at the show notes. We'll put the links for products and any of the kind of other related links that are there. And if you're new, we want you to subscribe. We really want to thank you for that.
And if you're not new, our existing subscribers, we love you guys so much. Thank you for your support and for being with us on this adventure. And I guess the most important thing we want to leave you with today, because our goal is to share what we've learned about RV work-life balance, how we do this, so that maybe it sparks some ideas and dreams and action for other people that want to pursue the dream. So the most important thing is to make your escape and get out here.
So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get out there. Bye.
Bye.